All right, continuing on with Remembrance of the Cousin. So the last video, I was like trying to figure out like how to explain this, like how to like figure hmm, what I was thinking at the time. So my cousin was telling the story, which now I see how ridiculous it was. Well, at the time I was thinking it was kind of ridiculous. So as a kid thinking it was ridiculous, I'm sure it sounded like an adult hearing it was probably thinking it was ridiculous. But I was thinking like at the time I was thinking that because I was because I was not going along with his story, I was saying, no, that's not what happened. Or I was saying, no, I didn't do that. Because he was saying I picked up this hot burn barrel and threw it at him. That's why he got the burns on his leg. So I was thinking because I was like protesting his story that um, it might have. I was thinking, does that help his claim to the story because I was protesting? because because like it made me look bad. His story made me look bad, so I was thinking, well, if I protested his version of the event, would that reinforce his story because I was protesting? Because if I hadn't said anything, I don't know. I guess I was just thinking at the time, me protesting wasn't really um, it wasn't really hurting his story because if I had really done that, I probably would have protested. I probably wouldn't have said, yeah, I picked up the hot barrel and threw it at him. So, like, either way, I would have been protesting, probably. But just thinking about it, like, because my parents could see that I was, like, this scrawny kid, like, around 11 years old, like, thinking of me picking up this big barrel over my head and then throwing it at my cousin. So logically, it didn't make sense. So I'm sure they didn't buy that story. But this is the story my cousin wanted to go with. It was a story that didn't make me look very good. The truth would have been more believable, for sure. Because, like, if I was picking up a big hot barrel, like, what did I have gloves on? Because wouldn't I have burned my hand? Because if the barrel touching his hand, if the barrel touching his leg had burned his leg, wouldn't it have burned my hands? Unless he was saying that, like, me throwing the hot barrel at him, like, the contents of what was burning fell out on him, and that's what he meant. So I thought that was a very ridiculous story. Ah, that last video, I was like trying to explain how I was thinking. It was just very difficult because how I was thinking didn't really make sense. So it was difficult to convey what I was thinking at the time because it really, none of it made any sense. Don't try this at home. I don't know. I guess my cousin was thinking, like, if we had told the truth, of what really happened. That we were like back by the barn, and we were like uh, burning things and bringing gasoline into it, and the gasoline dripped on my cousin's leg, and his leg caught on fire. Maybe he thought we would be yelled at. We weren't yelled at all, really. I wonder if we would have been yelled at, like if we had told the truth of what happened, rather than my cousin saying that I picked up a hot barrel and threw it at him. That sounds pretty bad. Because if we're gonna go by that story, um, I would you'd think that I would be yelled at for doing that. I don't know. I guess it was just like their reaction was just like accidents happen, or that was bad. But yeah, I don't remember being yelled at all. So that's interesting thinking on that. So that was very bad. Uh, so I feel bad about that. It was accidental, but it was definitely a reckless and dangerous thing to do. I think even after that, I was still playing with fire a little bit by myself. So after my parents got back that day, um, I guess my mother took him home, and he must have gone to the hospital after that. So he might have got yelled at by his mother. I don't know. I don't remember. Like later, when I was when I heard about him going to the doctor, I don't remember like uh what degree of burn. It definitely wasn't first degree. I think it might have been like second degree burns on his leg from the gasoline fire. It might have been third degree. I don't know like how extreme the third degree is, but it was at least second degree. So that it was pretty bad. And I remember later his mother, my cousin's mother, made a comment about how I burnt how I burnt him, like putting it all on me, blaming me. And I remember not I didn't like that comment because I guess I was thinking, well, it was an accident. It was accidental, and I didn't put the gasoline on my cousin. And I was just thinking, well, he accidentally let gasoline drip on his leg, and then the accidental thing happened where the flame caught on his leg. So I don't think I took responsibility at all at the time for it, but it was my idea. It was my idea to bring gasoline into the situation, but I didn't put gasoline on my cousin. I didn't throw fire on my cousin, but his mother made a comment where it was I was to blame. Like I burnt him. So then, I was still around my cousin a few times after that before he died. I don't remember if he showed the scar. He might have showed me the scar from the burn, but I don't remember what it looked like. It must have been pretty bad. Um, I remember at one point later, uh, we were in town somewhere, and I think maybe I found a lighter, and I was encouraging him. I was encouraging my cousin to again play with fire a little bit, and he recognized my bad influence on him. And I don't remember what he said, but something like maybe he was repeating something that his mother said. Something like I was manipulating or being a bad influence on him, or so I should that he shouldn't listen to me. So that's good. So yeah, I definitely had some pyromania problems. So I was later. I was caught playing with fire again. It was in the front yard. I didn't even hide it, so there's a mistake there. I didn't even go back behind the barn. I was playing with the fire, burning things. It was over by where my dog was chained by the doghouse, and so my dog had this like patch of dirt area, and I was playing with the fire near my dog. So my dog was probably barking, scared. My phone just buzzed. So that was bad. Uh, and so my mother came home and saw that I was playing with the fire, and I was like, that was that was bad. I was caught red-handed, so I felt like really embarrassed and guilty playing with the fire, just burning things. So my mother later my mother did something which I was very embarrassed about. But she called up. I was in the living room after that, and she was in the kitchen and talking on the phone to a fireman, saying how she had a firebug. She wanted the fireman to talk to the firebug. She called me. She was talking about me about playing with fire. The fireman just, I think, just told her that she needed to talk to the police about that. But I was just so embarrassed about that. It's weird, but I think that's what finally stopped me from playing with fire. Just the awkwardness and the embarrassment of my mother talking to a fireman about me being a firebug. So it should have been the pyromania should have stopped for me after my cousin was burned. His leg was burned. That should have been the reason why I stopped playing with fire. You'd think so, but instead it was me being called a firebug. And just the social embarrassment of my mother talking to a fireman about me. So I forced myself to look at myself. Like, what? I'm a firebug? So don't play with fire, because someone can get hurt. Someone can get burned very badly. So it could have been much worse. That would have been horrible. Like if my cousin had had more gasoline on him, or I don't know, he could have burned a lot more. So it could have been much worse than it was, I suppose. But it was still pretty bad. Somebody got hurt, so very, very bad thing to play with. Fire, gasoline.